So, Richie, now we're going to get an indication of what you went through on that first day.
It started.
Well, first, where is your office?
My office is at One Liberty Plaza, which is across the street from the World Trade Center. My office is almost directly across from the South Tower, which is the downtown tower. And I'm on Church Street, and Church Street separates me from the World Trade Center on the other side of the street. So a beautiful view. In my office has I have a corner office with three big. I used to have a corner office with three big windows that face the World Trade Center. So I was sitting at my desk that morning on the 11th. It was about 8:45 or so in the morning, and I was working, and the tremendous boom, the building shook, the windows shook, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. At first I thought maybe it was some supersonic type jet flying very low or something with a sonic boom, but then I looked out the window maybe 3 seconds later, and the first flames were just shooting out from the World Trade Center, just in several directions, and everybody in the offices around me all were yelling, and a lot of them came running into my office because I have a lot of windows, and we had no idea. We thought, it was an explosion of some sort, and couldn't figure out what in the world it was. Was it a bomb? But how would they get a bomb up that high? And because it was fairly high up on the building that hit. And it was actually the North Tower that was hit. So it was the uptown, not the one right opposite me, but the one next to it. And that's where the flames were coming out of. So I watched that, and then the alarms and the evacuation notices came out, evacuate the building. And I'm on the 14th floor. So I grabbed, the only thing I grabbed was my checkbook, basically. And
why?
And why is because Charlene, I thought, what should I grab? One thing, Charlene would have said the checkbook. So I grabbed that.
Charlene would have said the nice briefcase that she bought you for Christmas with the checkbook in it.
Right. But you didn't think about too much at that time, and there was no reason to think that I wouldn't be back in the office in a few minutes anyway, so.
We're here with Yoshi and Madeline. They live on Grand Street. They were on the roof when it happened. Yoshi took some pictures, and Madeline timed them from their roof.
It's a Japanese newspaper.
For a Japanese newspaper.
Excellent. Scary.
Scary, really.
Brings it back.
It's shaking there too.
Let's show you
I
to
think
see
this
it
is
off.
more like this and that is a little different.
Took the elevator down, and with a bunch of my co-workers, and we were standing across the street from the World Trade Center, basically on Church and Cortlandt Street, and we're looking up at the North Tower, and flames are shooting out, and pieces of all sorts of paper. It was raining down, and glass and things like that. It was just this haze of things coming down. But we're all, and the white hot flames are shooting out, obviously, as the tons of aviation fuel were burning. Yeah, Charlene has some of them brought to me. And I actually bent down and picked up a few pieces of things.
Hold it up close to your neck.
Yeah. It was, there were just several pieces. I don't know why I picked these up. I just grabbed pieces and I stuffed them in my pocket.
Yeah.
This is like a metal piece of twisted aluminum with some honeycomb on the back. And then there's just, I have no idea what these pieces are from. Someday maybe I figure out. And then there was a letter from an analyst, at a company called Fred Alger Management, and it just, dictated by somebody, and it was just some write-up on a company that the analyst was looking at. And I just jammed them in my pocket and absolutely forgot about them 2 seconds later. That sequence.
This is the sequence of it coming
from
down.
there.
Holy smoke. You did get that.
Oh, Yoshi, these are unbelievable. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
That's the one I got of the.
It's hard
That's
to
what
do.
Madeline took from the cascade. And these are the last two in the sequence.
Well, then we're standing there and we're watching this and trying to figure out, and somebody down there said it was an airplane they saw, and we thought, wow, how could an airplane by accident fly into the World Trade Center? So there was a lot of discussion about that. Well, there's a lot of air traffic and this. And all of a sudden, this woman next to me, I remember a black woman, didn't work for my company, I didn't know her, but she let out a shriek, scream, and I almost jumped out of my shoes, and I was, what is it? What is it? She said they're jumping, and I looked up, and there were people sort of cartwheeling, and just like dolls, just falling out of the windows, and people were hanging on parts of the superstructure that had been blown out, trying to get away from the flames, and either they fell or jumped, some of them. There was no way they could, if they were on those floors near there, the flames were intense, so whatever. And while we're watching this horror show, the next plane hits the South Tower, and I didn't know what that was, but all of a sudden the South Tower exploded up a little above the middle, and flame. This one was just huge flames billowing out, and all of a sudden everything comes raining down again, and even more stuff this time, metal. And we realized that this, no one stood around watching anymore. We realized this was now a terrorist attack. And so my building has a large overhang, like an arcade on the ground floor of the building, and heavy steel girders and stuff. So we all scrunched against the building under the overhang as things were falling, and we try and get around the building to the other side, so we have the building between us and the World Trade Center. And I get there, and now cops, and there are people running all over, and it's sort of mayhem. And the cops are just yelling at me, go uptown, head uptown, head uptown. So, I realized that was good advice, so I started working my way uptown towards City Hall, which is a couple of blocks north. And I get up towards City Hall, it's Chambers Street, and I make a left to go back to actually Church Street, which is the street, because I couldn't see from Broadway, I couldn't see what was happening, these buildings are in your way, so I wanted to get back and see what was happening. I mean, you just had to see what was going on. I mean, I felt I had to. It would have been easy just to go away and, be far, far away, but I went back towards the trade centers, basically. I get to Chambers Street and Church, and now I'm about 3 blocks north of it, and I'm looking up, and both buildings are burning intensely, and a lot of people I don't know, we're all just sort of standing there, and the cops are telling us go uptown, but we weren't moving, we were just all watching it. And then all of a sudden a whole bunch of people started yelling again, and it was, what's going on? It's falling, it's falling. And that building came down just like an avalanche or a waterfall. I mean, luckily it stayed very close to the building. It didn't topple, so it sort of came down, but it rippled out as far as the waves of dirt and dust and debris. Things were being vaporized basically by that compression and stuff. So steel, furniture, whatever.
Yeah,
Not the second one.
Nothing there. Second.
Oh yeah, you can see the difference
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
Wow. Oh my God.
And then they're gone here.
Because it's
There's
hard
no
to-
World Trade Center.
This is sunset that evening.
Smell.
The smell, wasn't it?
Oh,
That rubber burning smell.
So accurate.
yeah.
That night was just horrid.
Unbelievable
Wasn't it?
pictures, Yoshi.
And it hit the ground and then started rolling in all directions, this big balls of dust and dirt and whatever debris. And I was only about 3 blocks away, and it started coming up, and we all ran. Now we figure this was a survival thing, so we were all running and yelling, and people are, crying. And luckily the ball, it wasn't that fast, so if you ran at a pretty good clip, you could stay ahead of it. If you didn't, it sort of rolled over you. But I was able to stay ahead of it, and then it sort of, I realized that it had stopped and sort of subsiding, but very dusty. And I stop again and watching the World Trade Center is again the one now. There's one left, and all of a sudden that comes down, and the whole thing didn't seem to take very long. Between when it first happened and really both were down. It seemed for huge buildings like that, it was a surprise how fast they would come down. And anyway, and then again another run. Everybody's running again, and then we just, everybody just basically turned our backs on it, and we were farther enough north, and we walk home, and that was about it.
Richie's building at One Liberty Plaza is teetering on falling down. But this is Thursday, and we're heading off to work, although we're not going to be taking the subway. We're going to try and walk. Richie's office obviously is closed. He'll be going up to the Grand Central office on 42nd Street, and I'm going to be going up to 530 Fifth Avenue, where my office is located on 44th Street. My office was closed yesterday, so I heard. And I'm hoping that it's open today. It's about 8:30 or so, and we're not sure, and we're just going to start out because we just can't stand watching the news anymore. So, you're going up east. All vehicular traffic is closed south of 14th Street, which makes the village arguably the safest part of town. Mom and Dad up in the Bronx said that somebody was stopped at the Broadway Bridge with guns. There was a I don't know if it was a false alarm but there was a brief news report that They had found explosives at the Empire State Building last night. You used to be able to see the World Trade Center from here, and you can see that the smoke is still huge rescue effort going on. We tried to get south yesterday with our press passes, which are good for crossing parade lines, but not so good in the case of an emergency. And you can get no further than most of the press, which is remarkable unto itself. This is an important thing to point out. All the restaurants, for the most part in the village, have been opened. We really haven't gone much further north than 14th Street, to be honest. But restaurants are in operation, some stores are open, and there's not been a run on the supermarkets. I mean, there wasn't sliced bread, but there were English muffins, and there's really a lot of stuff in the supermarket. So everybody has been very calm, considering. And even after the first day, when I walked home from 39th Street, people were orderly, and that's very important. Heading up to St. Vincent's on Greenwich Street, you could see that there's no cars, but people are walking their dogs, just going about their business. St. Vincent's is one of the city's triage centers, which is located at 12th Street and 7th Avenue, between 11th and 12th and 7th. A lot of the victims have been brought here. This is where we went the very, very first day to try to donate blood. A lot of people came, and they had too many people actually offering to give blood, which is really wonderful. Yesterday we heard that there was a closing drive for both the rescuers and the victims, and we dropped off a bunch of sweaters, sweatshirts, blouses, some socks, and so, you know, you want to do something, but you're just not sure what else you can do. I don't think there's going to be that many more victims. Hopefully there's still some people still alive. Huge media corps here. This is the press staging area. And there's major networks plus Univision. And there's a lot of foreign press here over the past few days. Mayor Giuliani says that there are 3,700 missing people. People are creating missing signs to see if maybe their loved ones are in the hospital somewhere and not buried under the rubble. The company I work for owns Madison Square Garden as well as Radio City. On the first day, I was at a meeting off-site on 39th Street looking to reposition American movie classics, which now, of course, seems very surrealistic in the context. And twice somebody came into the room and said, the World Trade Center, his plane has flown in, and we thought, okay, it's an accident. And then she came in and she says, listen, plane just flew into the second tower. This is an act of terrorism. I don't know why we're all sitting here. And so rather than go to the office, I walked down 2nd Avenue past the Armory on 26th Street, which is now the Center for Missing Persons. We've received emails from around the world. Morrison Mann telephoned us from New Caledonia in the middle of the Easter Islands. We got an email from Milan. We were supposed to go to Italy in October, but we've canceled that for now. And we've even been corresponding via email with Bob Kent, who's in Saudi Arabia. He is, as he said, he has very mixed feelings, which he helped clarify a bit between sadness, shock, and anger. He said he couldn't even face the students in day 2 after the bombing. So, last night on the news, they were saying that in a show of solidarity, wherever you can hang a flag, hang a flag.
Be safe.
Okay, be safe. There's a bomb scare at Grand Central, and we just evacuated the building. I ran down the stairs. I don't know where Richie is. I left him a message. This is outside of Grand Central. I'm trying to find Richie. He's at 150 West 42nd Street. This is so bizarre. Just trying to figure out where I can cross. I figure we must have evacuated the building. There's supposed to be a bomb scare in Grand Central, which is right behind this building, but I get a feeling nothing too big can probably make it into Manhattan at this point. So if there is an explosion, if it is possibly true, it's going to be small. Oh, God.
Oh, this way! Ma'am, this way!
Lexington. I'm going to try and find Richie at 150 East 42nd Street. I think this is Richie's building, but they're blocking off 42nd Street. They're sending all the traffic north and you just can't go. And you can see everything is at a standstill here right now. You have news cameras interviewing people. I don't think I'll ever be able to find Richie in all of this. He may not even be here. Hopefully he's walking home. Oh, God. I think I'm going to start to walk home. Crazy. I'm going to continue on the east side. I just hope Richie got out and is walking home. And I tried to get Mom and Dad on the cell phone, but I got their voicemail. They're heading down for Dee Dee and Robbie Krause's father's funeral today, which I think was a foolish thing, but they wanted to do it. So hopefully we'll all connect pretty soon. We've reached 14th Street, and here's the blockade from a couple of days ago. The air is filled with smoke, probably from the World Trade Center. I'm now on 4th Avenue and probably 10th Street, it looks like. And actually, it's very smoky. I'm not going to talk. Getting down to Washington Square Park. I think this is like the safest part in town. There's no regular traffic allowed south of 14th Street. Wow.
This is just a great tragedy for America, and I bestow my blessings on America and blessings of my metropolitan Pavlos, and God bless America, God bless New York, and God bless the 500 firemen that eventually they're going to lose their loss of lives, 500 firemen and policemen and emergency workers and the, I don't know how many thousands of New Yorkers who are buried alive, some of them still. And God be with them who are still alive. All over Victoria. Lindbergh, a lot of my friends, actually right now, trying to find a girlfriend. She's looking for me from Pennsylvania. Her name is Giovanna Bahari. She is a wonderful woman. And she's currently injured. We don't know which hospital or after the services that we're going to provide there. We're going to run around the hospital trying to find her. We're praying to God and we're praying to San Juan that he's going to help us find her somehow. Many other friends, I've called many friends, they're okay. There's still others that I still cannot get in touch with them. Tremendous conductor.
There was a candlelight vigil last night. And here's Minetta Street. Rounding home. What a day. Again, this is Thursday, September 13th. It is 1:45. I'd gotten to the office around 9:30. We evacuated at about a little after 12, I guess. We're waiting for pizzas to come up. And it's probably, again, all a hoax, but there were bomb scares all over Midtown, particularly Grand Central, which is very close to my office and where Richie was working out of. Richie called me on the cell phone. He is home. He walked home. And now I'm home too. It is really smoky right here.
Really smoky. Smells of like burning rubber almost.
Actually, it smells like a fire.
Yeah.
We were off on an adventure. We're here to get more seltzer and the laundry. This is really the main street where the emergency vehicles come up. I wonder who they're interviewing here. Military. Way to picking up the laundry and some seltzer, we had a bomb scare. Somebody had left a suitcase on Carmine Street and the police cordoned off the street. I think it's pretty, oh no, the police car is still there. Opened up and realized it was empty, but you know, I'd rather than be extra cautious. It's nice to know the pizza place is still open, restaurants are open, supermarkets, there's no rush, there's plenty of stuff on the shelves, everything is okay. 7:30 a.m. on Friday. It thunderstormed last night, which makes the rescue mission at the World Trade Center treacherous. Richie's already set off for work, and I'm going to set off for work as well. And they caught 10 more people, 5 at LaGuardia, 5 at JFK, trying to board to do another hijacking yesterday night. Friday, the end of a very long week. The sun's come out, and already the entrepreneurs are making their mark. Every corner has somebody selling flags and things with stars and stripes on it. George Bush is in town. He had a press conference over the rubble, talking to everybody through a megaphone. I saw it on television. And now everything is backed up. It's about 5:15 on Friday, the 14th of September, 2001. These have been sprouting up all over the city. This is Ray's Pizza. A wall of missing people. A lot of people are wearing red, white, and blue. Maybe I'm just noticing it. Well, back home, showered, changed, and very strange to think that we're actually going out to dinner tonight. Our little park here has become another one of those memorials. It rained hard today. There was over 1.2 inches of rain in Central Park, which is, as you can see, dispersed the cloud, but of course has made the rescue operation that much more difficult. They reopened 14th Street south to Canal to traffic.
Sullivan and Broome Street.
Canal Street, still the southernmost point for people unless you live down here and you need to show a special pass. You can still see that smoke even after all that rain. People have been handing out all sorts of food to the cops and to the firemen. There are candlelight vigils going on everywhere. People are walking in the streets with candles. after dinner, going back home. The vigil is finished, and we've eaten steaks with wine. What the heck? What do you want?
I think we need a chocolate something.
I think so. Saturday morning, the 15th of September 2001. It's the first day that newspapers have been delivered in a couple of days. We're going to try to go downtown and see how far we can get. Richie's trying to use our non-emergency press passes to get south of Canal. I don't think it's working. We actually got through west of Bowery with non-New York City cops. So we're south now. We're sort of in Chinatown, I guess. And this is the court buildings here. The Brooklyn Bridge, which is right ahead, is a natural barrier. I'm sure we're never going to go. We'll have a lot of trouble getting south of that with our non-emergency press passes. Wow. Well, my friends, we are going under the Brooklyn Bridge. We're heading down to Fulton Street, and that's one of the streets that Richie ran down when he was escaping the debris. We're starting to smell that smoke. We don't have a mask.
You want one?
Yeah, how we get one?
Wait, read.
This is Wall Street. We're here. I don't know if we can get any further. This may be it. Thank you.
There wasn't really doing
How
anything.
far up Wall can you go?
You can go as far as you want as long as you have proper ID, you've been checked.
All right.
Thank you. Unbelievable. We're going up Wall Street.
Wall Street, the Regent Hotel.
Relief Center.
Anytime you want to get a drink, we have the general manager. Go on in.
'55 Broad Street, Relief Center.
They're out, and we definitely.
Oh, this beautiful ceiling.
Right on the stage.
Okay.
The air is very smoky down here, as you can see.
We're getting up to the corner where the New York Stock Exchange is on the left.
Oh, right. And I see the Federal Treasury on the right.
That's the
Flag at half-mast. We're wondering how they're going to open up in time for Monday's trading. There's the New York Stock Exchange. Wow. Okay. As far as we go.
It's all right.
Well, 30 Broad is the press staging area. We couldn't get through across Wall Street, but we're going to go to 30 Broad. But this looks pretty darn close to me, I gotta say. I'm trying to get into 30 Broad.
Just do me a favor, sign in right next door, the next lobby.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Mask?
It helps.
Yeah.
There's a gallery overlooking the trading floor that we could get you up on.
Okay.
There's not a heck of a lot going on right now.
Okay.
They're doing some system testing and some phone testing.
Can we get a
Okay.
shot of it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And if you don't want to stay long, you need not stay long.
No,
Okay.
we probably, it's not
Yeah.
the registered target people, so if we
Yeah.
can just.
Unfortunately, there's no interviews. Sure. No, I understand.
Channel 7 is here. We're going to be escorted up.
I hit it again. Did it end it? Yeah.
I was for a year before I was like, no, it's 3 years already.
Is this the exchange floor?
It's a new room.
Oh.
Wow.
Looks like this will be ready to open on Monday. Some of the Amex stocks will be traded on this floor, and the rest will be at the Philadelphia Exchange, but the Amex is too close to the World Trade Center, so the actual Amex floor is not going to be open.
Soil.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're walking them not past the ramp. Just go down along the perimeter to Linda's place. Yeah. To where? To the. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Everything's going to be electronic. Brokers won't even be able to find this place. Okay? And if they got an
Handing out
order in this stuff,
sunglasses
they
and
wouldn't know what the
paints.
hell it is.
Uh-huh. So we were just in the garage. Where are we now?
No, well, we're going into the big room of the court.
Okay. Heading into the big room. This is the big room. The last time I was here was a July 4th, about maybe 8 to 10 years ago, and it was empty.
It's my old booth here.
This is Richie's old booth.
You're out and
First thing Monday, we've asked people to put in orders of blocks of 100 shares or more. Okay, now we're entering the garage.
He used to operate out of here, XW.
What, this one?
Yeah.
XW. Richie used to operate out of here. They really look like they're getting ready for Monday, which is great.
And this comes out to the exit at
Guess we're going upstairs.
415-317.
New York Stock Exchange floor, getting ready. This is the members gallery across. Right over there is the public gallery where you wait online to get in. And this is the area where they ring the bell every morning.
They're like the telemarketers, you know,
Yeah, right.
raising bogus donations.
That's,
I mean, it's just, that's the good part of it. It just exposes them to people that
Right.
might not have realized.
right. The more they talk, the more they look
Yeah,
like fools.
yeah.
Let's hope.
Give them rope.
Which is into that. It's gonna be into that tomorrow, next month. And this doesn't dissuade them or shake their faith in that view, that worldview at all.
No, if anything, it probably strengthens.
But that's like 1/4 of 1% of the country.
I
Well, this
don't
I think
think so.
the 1/4 part, I think you were right, not the 1%.
I think it's a
I hope
lot.
you're wrong.
So you think 25%, so you two are 100% off of each other.
We're planning our next move.
The street beyond this is Broadway, and that's the barrier. That's where all the construction and damage is, so I don't know how close we could get.
Should we try south of here?
We can try south and let's see.
Okay, well,
I don't think they'll let us go to the blocks.
well,
Let's
let's,
go to Broadway.
okay, let's see. The air is really thick around here near Broadway. Okay, we're at the end of Broadway right here.
The Custom House to the left.
Right, oh gosh, yes, the Custom House. And this is Bowling Green.
Bowling Green Park.
We got down to Bowling Green Park, and there is the bull. Looking
Get down
south.
the subway here.
Oh wow, people are getting out of the subway? We are idiots. I can't believe this. We took the long way. Ay, ay, ay. Think we're going to make it to the other side? I don't know. We'll see. Wow, it's smelly here. It's very smoky. I think this is the end. This is the final boundary for us. And we're just told by the military that we can't go any further. Probably dangerous, actually.
Yeah. From that black building with the horizontal.
Okay, that is One Liberty. That's Ritchie's building. And that's the one that they were afraid would topple, but now they're saying it's structurally sound. So we're pretty close. We're on the south side of this.
The left side from here is the side that faces the World Trade Center, and that's where my office is, on the left side facing the World Trade. We can't see it from here. I don't think we'll be able to get close to it.
Yeah, we'll give it one last try, but this may be it for us. Got into the car.
Here, I will electric, some of these might, they might not. No.
Trying to get up the other side of Bowling Green, but they're just letting residents in and people who work in the buildings. I'm not sure how all these people got down here without press credentials, but it really is interesting. People with kids, I guess they must live down here. I can't imagine that they would let them in.
I don't know why they would.
The policeman said that one of these buildings may fall, so we don't even want to go this way.
I see it. I see it.
We're coming up to Liberty Street, Ritchie's office is down the block, which is, of course, right opposite the World Trade Center. I'm not sure how we'll get through. I doubt whether we will, but, we'll check it out.
Want a donut?
Anybody want a donut? This is One Liberty. That's Ritchie's building. Saying that One Liberty is tilting.
That one fell. What I missed that.
Okay, over here, Ritchie's saying that we would have seen
Above that peak, you would have seen the World Trade Center.
No, in fact, this is pretty strange.
Which was done too.
Now this is the Millennium Hotel,
The
another
black-
building that sustained a lot of damage. I just don't think we're going to get any further
This was the
in.
back of it. The front of it faced the World Trade Center.
This is the bottom of the World Trade Center. That
Well,
charred
that's one of the
lower
smaller
buildings.
buildings. You know, they had those.
7 or 5.
And that would be, I don't know what number it is, but, you know, and right behind that would have been
One of the towers.
the towers.
And just also to point out, this is that American Express building closer to the river, but they were also afraid at one point that it was going to collapse, that it was structurally unsound. Okay, we're heading back. Still billowing. So this is Saturday. This is Fulton Street.
These buildings on the left,
We would have seen
you
that
would have seen the
tower.
North Tower.
We're just on the northern part of it, standing east, looking west. Well, we've gone further than we ever thought possible. We're in Chinatown. We're looking for a little lunch. It's Sunday. We think it's September 23rd, which would make it a week and a half afterwards. We're walking down West Broadway in Tribeca. We can get a little further south, and we're going to get a much closer shot of one of the lower World Trade Center buildings.
You gotta keep moving. No stop in the middle of the sidewalk, please. Just keep the sidewalk moving. Folks, no stops in that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need to keep moving. There is too much congestion on this sidewalk. Please keep moving. No stopping or standing.
This is Richie's office building, 1 Liberty Plaza.
The 14th floor facing the World Trade Center, but on the other corner, actually.
Not stand in the middle of the sidewalk to take a picture. Step up to the railing, take a picture, and move on.
No railing, take the photo, and please move on. Down in the back, the scaffolding. Hello, red shirt.
All right. Maybe we should go. Maybe we should. Yeah.
It's the end of October. We're now about 6 weeks into this, and we can walk past Greenwich. This is the end, and I have to try and shoot between that thing and the fence. Wait till you get up front.
That big building in the background not have to come down, I'm not sure.
Now we're walking to the river, and this is the Embassy Suites. This is a new place. It's just a new area of the city that's just opened along the waterfront. It had been closed since September 11th, so We're going to try and check it out for another kind of view.
Thousands of teddy bears.
So then this one might be an original.
November 26, 2001. Canal Street's still blocked off to a lot of the traffic. We're going to be going to One Liberty, which overlooks Ground Zero. Richie and Renee and James. And me. This is Chelsea Jeans. This is the way their store looked. And they're keeping it as a memorial. They actually enclosed it in plexiglass. Crowds are still here. And the work goes on. We're going into One Liberty, which is Richie's office building that overlooks Ground Zero. Our names are on a special list.
I came in after the tragedy. We got off at 13, which is Goldman Sachs restaurant, actually. And since this happened at breakfast, it was full of old breakfast food, eggs and stuff like that. So everything had rotted. And so for like 4 days, that food was rotting there. Well, we'll go to my office and then we'll work to the other end of the floor. But all the windows blew out on the.
So these are all new?
These are all replacement windows there. But these windows here, it blew out that and that. Went right through.
Holy
shit. Yeah. So.
Man, anybody's...
Okay. Oh, hold on a minute. Well, this will give you a good close-up of those buildings there. Now that thing standing on the right, sort of that thin thing, that was part of the North Tower, the Uptown Tower, the North Tower, and the Downtown Tower was. You can there. So there were. So, and then there were all these low buildings around them. It was all part of the World Trade Center.
Right.
And then across the street is the World Financial Center, which is built later. And a good part of their windows were blown out, parts of the building torn off. You can see the smoke still coming up in various parts. It's still supposedly extremely hot down there. It's been nonstop. Just those cranes just dig and.
This is in another corner office on the other side of the floor, and you could see. Hope we can pick it up. Yes, the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, yeah, cool picture.
Get it from here. Get a nice view of that. Zoom in on some of that.
Because it looks good like a peanut head.
I was here when they built this, and it was the biggest hole you ever saw in your life.
Man.
And they excavated and dug out the whole thing. And they make an analogy to a giant bathtub, basically. That's what it was, a big square. CIA was over here, I think to the right. And no one could touch the building until the CIA they had all sort of a lot of files and cases that were in progress. Let's get them hitting
They
the
never found those black boxes. And those planes. I mean, you got airplanes, big ones.
Yeah.
Zooming in here, that's bizarre to think of.
Don't forget they towered over these buildings. I mean, they were almost double the size of those buildings.
Yeah, I
and
know,
much
I
wider,
can't-
much wider. They were huge. I'd sit in my office, and I always used to think of them as like the Rocky Mountains or the mountains.
This was the West Side Highway along here.
Yeah. I'd look at because the sunset would hit it, and I think just like having mountains there. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
This is across the street from it. Look at that. It
Yeah,
just
eventually, like how many years?
carved out the building. Look at that.
Look at this.
This is across the street.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of how it happened. The first plane came from the right, uptown, this way, and it hit that on that side. And then we were all standing there watching that building with the hole on the right side.
That tower. That's the remnants of it.
And then the other plane, the 757, came in screaming this way, and it went just to this side of the Bankers Trust building and slammed into
Bankers
the
Trust building.
tower. So I had to go around, actually.
And the South Tower was right here.
Or actually, it didn't go around it. It was above it. I shouldn't say it went around it.
Yeah.
It was above it when it hit, because it hit just about in the middle. So it hit. It must have flown almost at rooftop, slammed right into that one.
How
And
tall is that building?
it must be 50 stories or something
So
like
these are
that.
twice as big.
Right. So it flew like around rooftop, right smack into it, And when that one hit, it exploded all over. I mean, I was down there.
That's when the windows blew.
Yeah, everything blew. So, incredible.
It is March 11th at about 7 o'clock, and this is, of course, the 6-month anniversary on March 11th of the September 11th terrorist attack. They've set up a memorial, which are 2 major lights where the buildings were located. We can see them from the end of our block, and we're just going to see if we can capture these towers of light emanating. They seem, oh yes, there they are. They're still deciding about what type of permanent memorial, but I think this is it for now. And of course, that's exactly where the buildings used to stand.